Hello children, let us continue studying the lesson separation of substances. We have already studied some of the processes such as hand picking, winnowing, threshing, sieving, and now we have to continue the lesson. Let us study about sedimentation, decantation and filtration. These are the methods of separating things from a mixture. So, sometimes it may not be possible to separate components of a mixture by winnowing and hand picking. So, all the mixtures cannot be separated just by hand picking and winnowing. For example, if there are lighter impurities like dust or soil particles in rice, can we remove it by hand picking or winnowing? No. What your mother will do when she cooks the rice? So before cooking, she will wash the raw rice with water. So all the impurities there, it may be the dust particles, gets removed along with water. Isn't it? So, the heavier component in a mixture settles after water is added to it. Here, which is the heavier component? When you have taken rice and water, rice becomes the heavier component and it gets settled at the bottom of the tumbler or the vessel in which you have taken. Whereas water along with the dust particles will remain at the upper layer. So this water can be removed easily along with the dust particles. That process is known as decantation. Whereas the heavier component in the mixture settles down in the vessel whatever you have taken. So that process is known as sedimentation. Understood? What is sedimentation and decantation? When the heavier component in a mixture settles after water is added to it, it is known as sedimentation, and the lighter components along the water particles float or they remain at the top of the vessel and it can be removed easily. So that process is known as decantation. It works in the case of liquids also. For example, if you take two liquids which will not mix together. For example, if you have taken oil and water, if you try to mix them, they will form two layers, isn't it? They form two layers. They will not mix with each other. So, if you have mixed them also, allow them to stand for a few minutes. So what you can observe? You can observe two layer formation. One is oil, the other one is water. So the upper layer can be removed easily by decantation. Can you see? Slowly you can tilt the tumbler or the vessel whatever you have taken, and slowly the upper layer can be separated from the lower layer. So that process is known as decantation. How to purify the muddy water? Think that you have a glass of muddy water with you. So let it stand for an hour. Note your observation. What may happen? Many small particles of soil get settled at the bottom of the tumbler. So that process is called as sedimentation. So the water now slowly can be removed from the soil particles by tilting the glass slowly. What is that process called? It is called decantation. So again, the water may be impure, isn't it? The water may be bit brownish in color. What will you do? How will you filter it, or how will you purify that water? So what you have to do is you have to take a piece of cloth In the piece of cloth, small holes or pores remain in between the woven threads. So these pores in a cloth can be used as a filter. So you can filter the muddy water with the use of a cloth. After filtering, if the water is still muddy, if impurities are there, then you have to take a filter paper and fold it in the form of a triangle. So, a filter paper folded in the form of a cone or triangle is fixed onto a funnel. The mixture is then poured on the filter paper. So, all the solid impurities in the mixture of water cannot pass through that filter paper. So, it remains there only. Like this, the water can be purified. This method is known as filtration. You use a strainer, isn't it, at home? After you prepare tea or after you prepare lemon juice, you stain it with a strainer. So you filter it with the strainer. That is the process of filtration. Usually fruit and vegetable juices are usually filtered before drinking to separate the seeds and solid particles of the pulp. That process is known as filtration. Even smaller particles or dust particles or impurities can be filtered by using a filter paper. You all know that salt gets dissolved in water. So how can you separate the salt from the dissolved water? You have a method called evaporation in order to separate the salt from the water. So what is evaporation? Evaporation is a process of conversion of water into its vapor. So here you have taken a beaker which is filled with salt water. You have to heat it continuously. After some time, you can observe that the water vanishes completely. Only salt remains at the bottom of the beaker. So this process is known as evaporation. The same process is done or introduced in order to separate the salt present in the sea water. You all know that sea water contains salt in it. So how the salt is obtained from sea water? It is by the process of evaporation. When sea water is allowed to stand in shallow pits, usually shallow pits, can you see here, are done, shallow pits are done by the shore of the sea. So these shallow pits are filled with water, that is sea water. So water gets heated by sunlight and slowly turns into water vapor through evaporation. After few days, water evaporates completely from that shallow pits and only salt remains there in the bottom. This salt will have impurities also, so it has to be purified further with the help of some other process, isn't it? So from this we can come to know that for the separation of substances from a mixture, sometimes we need to take different methods or we need to use different methods in order to separate the components of a mixture. I already explained that we have to use more than one method for the separation of substances or components from a mixture. We have an example here. We have to take a mixture of salt and sand. So how can we separate this mixture? What we have to do is we have to add water to that mixture. When water is added to the mixture, you know that the heavier components gets settled down at the bottom of the vessel, whatever you have taken. So which is the heavier component there? Sand is the heavier component. That process is known as sedimentation. So the water along with the salt in it can be separated by decantation, isn't it? So now what we have to do is, we have to transfer that liquid or salt solution to a kettle and close its lid. So we have to heat the kettle for some time. We have to note that the steam will come out from the spout of the kettle. Take a metal plate with some ice on it. Hold the plate just above the spout of the kettle. So all the water from the kettle boils off. When the steam comes in contact with the metal plate which has ice in it, the steam is converted back into liquid drop by drop, and it is collected in one more beaker. Can you see the water droplets? So as the steam comes out from the kettle, it is cooled because ice is there in this metal piece. So the water vapor is converted into water droplets again. The water vapor is converted into liquid again. That process is known as condensation. The process of conversion of water vapor into its liquid is known as condensation. So you might have seen water droplets condensed under a plate that has been used to cover a vessel containing milk. Usually your mother will cover the food items after it is cooked. After some time, when you open the lid or the plate which is used to cover, what can you see? Water droplets can be seen in the inner surface of the lid, whatever is used to cover that, isn't it? So that is due to the process of condensation. Here in this example, we have used the process such as decantation, filtration, evaporation and condensation. After all the water gets boiled and it gets evaporated, what remains in the kettle? Salt remains in the kettle. That is the process of evaporation. So we have used the process of decantation, filtration, evaporation and condensation in order to separate sand and salt from the mixture. Can water dissolve any amount of a substance? So let us study now. You have to take a cup of water and you have to pour it to the beaker or a vessel. So add 1 teaspoon of salt and stir it well. When you add salt to the water and if you stir it, what will happen? The salt disappears. So the salt dissolves completely in water. Go on adding salt 1 teaspoon at a time. So after it dissolves, again you add 1 teaspoon. Again it dissolves, again you go on adding 1 teaspoon at a time and stir it well. So you have to do like this. You have to stir it well. So after some times, the salt remains undissolved and settles at the bottom of the beaker. So no more solute or the salt will get dissolved in that water. That means the solution is said to be saturated solution. When you add salt to water and stir it, it dissolves. The salt dissolves. Now that solution or the water is called as salt solution or a solution. So you have added salt. the salt is said to be solute, and the water or the liquid, whatever you have taken, is known as the solvent. So the salt plus the solvent gives you the solution. Salt is the solute and water is the solvent. So salt plus solvent or the water gives you the solution. Now you have salt solution with you. What is saturated solution? When no more solute can be dissolved in that solvent, that process or the solution is said to be saturated. At the same time, you know that water can dissolve many solute in it. It is known as universal solvent, isn't it? Water is the universal solvent. So large quantity of salt can be dissolved in water when it is heated. If water is heated, more quantities of solute can be dissolved in it. At the same time, water dissolves different substances in different amounts. If you have taken sugar and add to it, it dissolves in it and the quantity differs from that of the salt whatever you have used in the previous case. So water dissolves different substances in different amounts. At the same time, what is the solution now? What is the saturated solution? A solution is said to be saturated if it cannot dissolve more of the substance in it.